Fetterman knows that he has to do work. So you can clearly tell what's going on there. He knows that he's supposed to say something about fracking, that he's supposed to have some kind of prepared statement on this, because his advisors have clearly told him, hey, this question's going to come up that you said you were anti-fracking. You need to have a pre-planned statement. I'm sure that if you were staffing Fetterman for that debate, or if I was staffing him, I would say, look, it's just too popular. It's too important. You've got to come out for it, but you have to do work to explain away that earlier statement, that earlier declaration. And the answer just wasn't there. He had no way to even, and he couldn't think through it on the fly. And that's what you were seeing. So, I talked about this on War Room recently, and I said, this is a prototype of a man-machine hybrid that the elites want to create because of their policy, essentially their agenda of transhumanism. They want to establish apotheosis so that they can upload themselves to Elysium while the rest of our system and the rest of us completely collapses around us, like our infrastructure collapses like a Nord Stream pipeline. But when it comes to that prototype, I would say the test run showed that it was a complete failure. I mean, you look at the guy and you just think, your weird Windows error screen, 404, 404, not found. And it's sad. It's honestly very sad to me when I look at this. I think it's very sad that people like Josh Shapiro will not come out and simply talk about his teammate and explain to the people of Pennsylvania. Have some respect. Have some respect for the people of Pennsylvania, your voters, your donors, that when a member of your team is experiencing a situation like this, have them come out. And Anna Navarro was up there. I love her so much. And she said, oh, it's courageous. It's courageous that he got up on that stage. No, that's not courageous. Courageous would be facing reality for what reality is, accepting the absolute truth, and knowing in your heart of hearts that you're not up for this, and the people of Pennsylvania deserve someone who could at least be a fully capable United States senator, and withdrawing from the race. That would be the courageous, honorable thing to do.
We put up the poll while you were chatting about collapse, because that is precisely what happened. 80% plus said that Dr. Oz won the debate. 18% said John Fetterman. Not exactly sure what type of brain damage you would need to think that John Fetterman won that debate. Is this what you're finding with your people in Pennsylvania?
Oh, it's exactly right. It's exactly right. And you did see these weird sort of split. So Pennsylvania is a ticket splitting state. It kind of always has been, particularly for the top of the ticket. So you do find these weird sort of Oz Shapiro splits, which, by the way, Karl Rove is, the great Karl Rove, the complete snake that he is running ads that are essentially pro Shapiro and pro Oz at the same time in an effort to undercut what Republicans are doing at the state level with Mastriano. But you're also seeing Fetterman Mastriano supporters out there in some of the crosstabs that I'm looking at in Rasmussen. Richard Barris is going to be putting out a poll where he's trying to crowdfund for that right now. We really hope that he does, because we love the People's Pundit, the big data poll. So You're seeing these very strange crosstabs of people saying, well, I support one, but not, and then the other one. I support one Democrat, but one Republican, and it's across Pennsylvania. We've just kind of always been that way. It's, you could get into the philosophical and sociological debate about why that is, but that's simply just how it works. That being said, this was a collapse that we saw last night that was like Hillary at a 9/11 memorial type collapse, throwing her into that van, into that like a piece of meat into a meat locker. And you have to imagine that they wheeled Fetterman out there, propped him up on stage, and then just sort of wheel him back afterwards, lock him up in some kind of chamber. Because, look, and that being said, do a float spa, do something to get your mind right there, John. This is not the place that you need to be. And when I talk to people in Pennsylvania, everyone who watched this thing said, I mean, there's no way you can vote for this guy. There's just no way.
So the people of Pennsylvania